This screencast will give you a starting point for looking for interventions and enrichments based on math standards. So begin with the coherence maps at achievethecore.org. I'm going to give a 5th grade example. Open up the standards for math and then choose which standard that you're looking for instructional materials on. And for this example, I'll choose the number and operations. And then this will bring you to the major cluster of the different standards within there. So if you scroll down, you can see all of the standards that are within that one standard that we clicked on. So let's say that we would like to find out more about just this first one. So we'll click Map Standard, and then that brings up that standard and then all the ones that they feed into as they progress and all the ones that came previous. So when you find a hole in understanding, you can go backwards, or if a student is showing that they've mastered this, you can go forward into the next grade level and see how to enrich that particular standard. So if I click on this magnifying lens up here, this zooms out and it gives you a big picture of the standards that led up to that from the previous grades, and then also what they go into as you progress through the grades. And you can just drag it through and you can see all of the standards that are attached to that one. So we'll go ahead and go back into this one. And this standard feeds into all of these others. So I can either click on one of these, or I can go down and it'll give me example tasks to use to teach this standard, which might be something that you do at small group table, and you can get your formative data that way through this task. So if you click down here, it'll actually bring up that sample task that you can use to gain this information, or you can use it as instructional materials, whatever works best for you. So if we go back, the other thing that you can do, this progressions goes into a very wordy description of the progression of skills. Tasks, that's going to give you a link that'll take you to some instructional tools that you can use when you're teaching this standard, if you're needing to dig in a little bit deeper with students. Lessons, that also will give you some resources that you can go to. So if you have a student that is needing enrichment or perhaps an intervention, this will give you some great lesson ideas that you can use to reinforce that skill. Park item, that's going to give you a sample park item that addresses this skill. And then focus is kind of interesting. It gives you this graphic. It tells you what the major supporting math clusters are for grade 5. But down here is a really nice little graphic on one sheet that shows all of the subset of the major work in all the grades from K through 8. So it gives you a nice overview to understand where the skills originated and where you're going with them. So if we go back to this one again, let's go back and see if we can go back and find a standard that led up to this one that we want to see if we can find an activity or an instructional material that'll help us if you discover a hole in understanding or a gap in understanding. So if I go backwards, you can see that something that feeds into that, I can open it up and explore in here and see if that's something that I feel would be helpful for a student to have reinforcement in. So once again, you can go in, look at all of the different lessons, resources, progressions. There's different assessments. The best way to interact with this is to just go in and explore and play, and you'll find different things that might be helpful for you.